Hello students, welcome you to the video on direct and indirect speech. In our previous videos, we discussed the lesson Swami is expelled from school and comprehension, vocabulary related to that lesson. And today, as a part of a discussion on another academic standard, I have see this next after vocabulary, this grammar comes. Okay, to be able to complete this exercise, I thought you will be able to do it very well if I discuss the total rules connected with direct and indirect speech. See, for example, read the following imaginary conversation between Swami and the headmaster. So, headmaster, why did you come to school? Why didn't you come to school yesterday? Swami, sir, my mother was suffering from fever. This is a direct and indirect speech actually. Okay, I'll show you just a see in indirect speech. The above conversation can be written like this: the headmaster asked Swami why he had not come to school. Okay, to be able to correctly do this, you need a thorough knowledge of direct and indirect speech. See, this exercise is there. To be able to complete this exercise, okay, you need uh, a very good understanding of direct and indirect speech. So please listen carefully and understand and be ready to change this one into indirect speech. So this is today's topic. Okay, children, this is my own notes. If possible, I will just forward these notes afterwards. Right. Direct indirect speech in your previous classes you might have your teachers might have discussed this with you, okay, but consider this is a kind of revision, right? What is meant by direct speech? We have heard, I don't know whether your previous teachers defined direct speech is the actual words of the speaker. Indirect speech means words said by someone, they're not actual words, somebody's words you report. That's why direct indirect speech is also called a reporting and a reported speech. Reporting speech is a direct speech and reported speech is a indirect speech. So these indirect speech is words said by someone. Okay, rule 1 children, punctuation marks, such as any punctuation marks, you have a very good knowledge of a punctuation perhaps, or any punctuation marks are removed in indirect speech. Okay, for example, direct speech, he said, comma, quotation marks, I'm coming, quotation marks, end. Indirect speech, you see, he said that he was coming. See, there is no punctuation mark. Any punctuation mark except perhaps at the end of the sentence, a full stop. Nothing else is there, right? So that is very easy to understand. And also this is how you can identify a direct or indirect speech. And direct speech has these quotation marks to mark the actual words, exact words of the speaker. And indirect speech, okay, there is a conjunction that and third person pronouns are used. That way you can identify indirect speech. Rule number 2. First and the second person pronouns are possessives. In direct speech, usually, okay, I want you to pay attention to this. Usually change to third person pronouns are possessives in indirect speech. Okay, just for example, let us see direct speech. He said, I like my new house. See, I is a first person pronoun. My is first person possessive. Okay, pronoun you perhaps you are aware of, and a possessive you might not have heard, but when we say possessive, a word that indicates ownership, belongingness, my, okay, right. Indirect speech for that same sentence. I like my new house. He said that he liked his new house. See, first this is a first person pronoun. Change to third person pronoun as per the rule. Rule you see here. Okay, first and second person pronouns. Change to third person pronouns. Okay, if there are possessives, they also change to third person possessives as here. Say this first person pronoun possessive, my, change to third person possessive. Okay, right. See, okay, for further clarification, for you to understand, to be able to understand better, see here, first and second person pronouns. See, singular pronouns. Singular first person pronoun is I and me. And second person singular pronoun is you. Right. First person singular possessive. My, mine. Second person possessive, your, yours. Next, plural of the same. Okay, I singular, we plural. We plural. Plural of this first person I, and possessive is our or ours. This is possessive, plural possessive of first person. And second person possessive, second person pronoun is you. This is a plural pronoun. See, pay attention here. Yeah, singular pronoun and plural pronoun is same for you. And possessive is your, yours, same as here. Singular and plural pronoun or possessives are same. Okay, see here, this, okay, this a first and second person pronouns or possessives, these ones, or their plurals, change to third person plural, third person pronouns, third person. See here, okay, when we say in English grammar person, first person, there are three persons. First is always I, you is second, the remaining is a third person. That's why that's how we have to understand. See, third person. Singular pronouns are he, she, it. Plural pronouns are they. And possessives are possessives for he is his or him. And for she, singular possessive is her or hers. Plural is the same for all, whatever it is. And it also is a singular third person pronoun. See here, possessive is very confusing. It's without apostrophe s. It should be like this without apostrophe. If it has a apostrophe s, it's a contraction of it is, but it's not that one. It's without apostrophe. This is a pronoun. This is a possessive. Okay, possessive pronoun of a third person. So this table is just for your reference. See what? Okay, remember, just have a look at this first and second person pronouns and third person pronouns. See here, this is in the example I have given you here. I first person pronoun, like my new house. My is a first person possessive. Okay, this is first person pronouns and possessives change to third person pronouns and possessives. See this highlighted. I changed to he. my change to his. Okay, that's easy to understand. Okay, if yeah, if you have any doubts, keep playing this video until you understand. Okay, that is the second rule. Let's move on with the third rule. Sorry, uh, another rule in okay, in the second, under this second point, because I said usually they change. Usually, that means not always. Okay, this rule does not apply. This rule of first and second person pronouns changing to third person pronoun or possessive, so does not apply in this case. In this case, see for example, when the person who said and the person referred to is the same. Get this. See for example, in the above sentence, I is he. Here in this I is this is same as this I. Okay. Right. So I can't help the person who said is the same as the person who is this in the introductory part. The subject in the introductory part is the same as the subject in the second part. I can't help. This I, both I's, this I and this I is the same. So in indirect speech, same pronoun is used. That above rule does not apply. I said that I couldn't help. See, I, here, these two, right? And that's the one thing that you have to be extra cautious about changing into indirect speech. Third rule: time and place expressions of nearness in direct speech change to that of far in indirect speech. Okay, this is very easy. You know it, very basic. Now becomes then, today becomes that day, yesterday becomes the previous day, last year the previous year, tomorrow the next day, ago, before, here, there. Okay, up to ago, these are our time expressions. And the remaining down ones, so here, this, these are place expressions. Okay, so ago changes to before, here, there, this, that, these, those. Okay, let's have an example. Okay, you may be observing the each rule change is highlighted and how it changes in indirect speech. Example, direct speech. She said, "I'm leaving for Hyderabad now." See, this is the time expression. It changed to then. She said that she was leaving for Hyderabad then. Okay, so it is easy for each rule. When each rule is discussed, only that a specific point has been highlighted. You can see it for yourself. Right. Let's move on with the fourth rule. The tense of direct speech changes to its corresponding past tense in indirect speech. This one, okay, this rule also is very basic to direct and indirect speech. You might have come across and you might have heard from your previous teachers. Okay, direct speech, simple present. That means verb one in indirect speech becomes a simple past verb two. And present continuous, am, is, are plus ing form. That is the structure of a present continuous. And it changes to past continuous, was, were, was or were plus ing form. Right. Present perfect. That is the structure of a present perfect is have or has plus V3 changes to had plus V3. Present perfect becomes a past perfect. Simple past becomes a past perfect. Sometimes simple past also can be used in there in direct speech. Okay, simple past becomes a past perfect. Simple past becomes a past perfect. And past continuous becomes a past perfect continuous. Okay. That's all. And the remaining future tense expressions, these are all these are future tense expressions. Will becomes would, can becomes could, may becomes might, shall becomes should. Okay, these changes. Okay, to be able to change this one, you have to have a very good knowledge of tenses. Okay, without knowing tenses, it's almost very difficult to change direct to indirect speech correctly. And this is very basic. In paper 2, there is a section for 3 marks in which basic grammar is asked: direct, indirect speech, active, passive voice, or any such thing. So this discussion, if you listened and understood very well, would be very helpful to score marks related to any questions related to direct and indirect speech, or any grammar point for that matter. Next, so just to see, let us see one example. How tense changes. Direct speech. She said, "I go to school." I go to school. See, indirect speech, she said that she went to school. See, go changes to went. Go is verb 1, went is verb 2. Okay, this knowledge of the verb forms also is very important. How verb changes from tense to tense. Right. Okay, under the same rule, another point, sub point under rule number 4. Okay, we said tense of the direct speech changes to its corresponding past tense, but that rule is not applied all the situations. See here, when general facts or general truths, universal truths, or actions which are still relevant. Okay, you are speaking about some past action which has a relevance in the present. Those such kind of actions. When such kind of actions are reported, the same tense is used in indirect speech. The tense does not change. Okay, see, general facts, universal truths, or actions which are still relevant at the time of speaking. Okay, those when reported do not take the past tense. Okay, the same tense is used in indirect speech. Okay. Right. Next example, let us see one universal truth or a general fact. Teacher said the earth revolves around the sun. Okay, this is a universal truth. Even when reported, the tense does not change. You can see it for yourself as it is highlighted here. The teacher said that the earth revolves. See, here revolves, verb 1, revolves, verb 1 here, round the sun. Okay, since it's a universal truth. Okay, the situation does not change. Okay, in the past, earth revolved around the sun, and it is the same even in the present. The earth continues to revolve around the sun, so this tense does not change. Okay, hope you understood. And under the same point, under the same fourth point, second sub point. Also, when the introductory verb is in present tense, this is a introductory verb. Let me highlight this one. See, please see for yourself. This is called introductory verb. Says. See, this is the first part. In the first part, the verb in the first part, that is introductory verb. He says. See, this is when the introductory verb is in the present tense, the tense of indirect speech does not change. Okay, say for example, I am feeling sick. He says he is feeling sick. Am and is both are simple present tense verbs. See, it is a otherwise if this says is said, for example, in the place of says said is there, then this will change to was. Okay, it changes like this. He said, I am feeling sick. Okay, then this also changes. He said that he was feeling sick. But the rule is that when the introductory verb is in the present tense, the tense in indirect speech remains the same. It does not change. Okay. Okay. Hope you got it. And let's move on. Let's move on. Fifth rule. Fifth rule is that when statements, okay, this is altogether a different point now. When statements are reported, when exclamatory sentences, when statements plus exclamatory sentences. Okay, statements are nothing but a declarative sentence, types of sentences. You might have learned. Okay, types of sentences: declarative sentence, exclamatory sentence, interrogative sentence, imperative sentence. Of that, when statements, that means declarative sentences, and exclamatory sentences are reported, that means changed into indirect speech, the conjunction that is used. That is used. Okay, many students find it very, very difficult to understand this one. Okay, let us try to understand. Okay, let us see. Direct speech. A father said to son, I don't like to see you wasting time. I don't like to see. It's a negative declarative, negative statement. I don't like. Okay, positive is I like to see you wasting your time. Okay, but nobody likes. So I don't like to see you wasting your time. Father said to son. Okay, here because okay, sorry, this father told his son, told because this said in the introductory verb said has an object. So this indirect speech introductory verb becomes told. Okay, father told son that. See this one. This is the conjunction that he didn't like to see him wasting his time. This is the rule. When okay, you have to simply understand this conjunction that is used when the statements are exclamatory sentences are reported. Okay, in indirect speech, the mood is conveyed through the verb that you use in introductory part. A mood can be conveyed through the choice of verb that is used here in the introductory part. Okay, see for example, father shouted at son. See how to include that mood in the introductory part in indirect speech. Father angrily said to his son, told his son. Okay, then that becomes okay. That mood is included. Okay. Father told son that he didn't like to see him wasting his time. See, the each rule that we discussed is applied here. See, I became he. Okay, you became him. See, right? So this is a first point under fifth rule. Another sub point one under the fifth rule. When yes or no questions are reported. Okay, I don't know whether you understand when we say yes or no questions. When we say yes or no question, the question for which the answer is either yes or no. Okay, see for example, do you speak English? Is an example of an yes or no question. Okay, because answer can be anyone to whom this question is asked. To anyone this question is asked, I answer will be either yes or no. So those are yes or no questions. See, for example, where is your house? This is not a yes or no question. You don't answer when a question like this is asked. Yes. Where is your house? Yes. Will you answer like that? No. So you don't answer like that. So those are, that is not a yes or no question. That is a WH question. But only when yes or no questions are reported. When no yes or no questions are reported, the conjunction in indirect speech is either is whether or if. That is the conjunction. That is the conjunction that you use, like that. Right. Let us see. In an example, the clerk said to the boss, "Are you free this afternoon?" See here, this is a yes or no question. The answer is either yes or no. So the conjunction whether or if is used. The clerk asked the boss if he was free that afternoon. Or the clerk asked the boss whether he was free that afternoon. See, in indirect speech, said became asked because we ask questions. We ask questions. That's why that the question is expressed by this choice of this word. Okay, the clerk asked the boss if he was free that afternoon. Okay, and see whether conjunction is that or whether conjunction is whether or if, whatever the conjunction may be, after the conjunction only subject comes. See here, nothing else should come. Nothing else should come. After the conjunction, only subject should be used. Subject must be used, otherwise it becomes wrong. See here, okay, many students mistake it. The clerk asked the boss, okay, if was he free that afternoon? No. Okay. Otherwise, some students, if are you free this afternoon? Okay. No, it's not like that. After the conjunction subject, just I'll just write here, or maybe I'll write here. Note. After the conjunction, okay, conjunctions such as after conjunctions such as that, whether or if, subject. Okay, remember this. Remember this. If if this structure is not followed, your indirect speech becomes wrong. And I want to remind you, in a transformation of sentences in the examination, even if a small mistake, little mistake, you will lose total mark. There is no half mark because a half sentence is correct. Okay, there is no half mark. So you have to be 100% correct. Only then you will get marks. No half marks for 1 mark. If 1 mark, if you want to get 1 mark, total sentence, 100% it should be correct. Otherwise, it will not be correct. Okay, under fifth point, second sub rule. Okay, this also deals with the conjunctions. Okay, when WH questions, such as when, where, who, what, all those things. When WH questions are reported, the same WH, the same word, the same WH word is used as a conjunction, and indirect speech takes this statement to word order. That means it becomes a statement, not a question. Say, for example, say after this WH, she had finished her homework. Did you finish homework? See here, right? Mother said to her daughter, when did you finish your homework? See, this is a WH word, and the same WH word is used as a conjunction. Okay, when did you finish your homework? Is a question. In indirect speech, the same WH is used as conjunction, and the reported speech is in the statement word order. She had finished her homework. See, subject, okay, simple past, verb, and object. Not when did she finish her homework? No, it is wrong. Next, third rule under fifth point. When imperative sentences are reported, the conjunction to plus verb 1 is used. To plus verb 1 is used. For negative sentences, not plus 2 plus verb 1 is used. Okay. Imperative sentences. We said the types of, I just hinted on the imperative sentences, the types of sentences. Imperative is another type. Okay, these are interrogative sentences before. Now we are discussing imperative sentences. When imperative sentences are reported, the conjunction to plus verb 1 is used. If a sentence is a positive, if it is negative, not plus 2 plus verb 1 is used. Direct speech. The teacher said to students, complete the homework and enter the class. In imperative sentence, what do we mean by imperative sentence? A sentence that expresses command or request. Okay, so see this one, indirect speech. The teacher told the students to complete. See, 2 plus verb 1, the homework and enter the class. So that's the end of presentation on direct and indirect speech. If you have any doubts, please keep on listening to the video and you will be able to understand it. Okay, if anyone who needs it, just WhatsApp me. I will forward this material. You can see it in a Word format or whatever the format. Okay, and that's all for now. Until we meet again, bye bye.